Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're bringing you a completely comprehensive global briefing on the state of the world this August. We've got a lot of ground to cover, everything from the highest levels of global geopolitics all the way down to the prices you're paying at the grocery store, and even a quick look up at the stars. So let's just get right into it. Now, before we dive too deep, I want to point out that everything we're unpacking today comes directly from a really incredible August 9th presentation by Divish Raghugoda. He's a student over at the Mindset Training Academy, and Divish has done just a phenomenal job pulling together these massive, critical threads of what's shaping our world right now. So we'll be using his research as our guide today. Here is a quick look at the agenda. We'll start with global defense spending, shift into the inflation battle, take a look at a celestial triple threat, cover the severe monsoons in India, and then wrap things up with sports and new talent.
All right, Section 1, Global Defense Spending.
This quote really sets the stage perfectly. As global challenges grow, nations are investing heavily to secure their skies and protect their future. We are living in a moment where global threats are just multiplying by the day. National security isn't just about boots on the ground anymore. It's about looking up and making sure that sovereign airspaces are completely impenetrable.
$2.6 trillion. Seriously, just take a second to let the sheer scale of that number sink in. Countries are pouring more capital into their militaries right now than at any other point in recent history. It is literally reshaping global budgets and economic priorities in real time.
So where on earth is all that money going? Well, experts are noting that this massive pile of cash is heavily targeted toward advanced high-tech missile defense shields. With how asymmetric warfare has evolved, nations are absolutely laser-focused on rapid airborne threats. They're buying advanced fighter jets, deploying high-end radar systems, and essentially trying to build the ultimate high-tech umbrella over their borders to stop things like drones and rockets before they can even get close to the ground.
Now, what's really fascinating is when you look across different regions, you see two distinct strategies playing out. Take India, for example. Following operations like Operation Sindoor, they are bumping up their defense budget by a massive 15%. But their approach is highly localized. They're leaning hard into Atmanirbhar, meaning they want to build these high-tech weapons and naval ships internally to boost their own industrial sector. On the flip side, over in Europe, nations are reacting directly to the war in Ukraine. NATO countries are shifting their budgets dramatically, aiming to spend up to 5% of their total GDP just to modernize their armies. It's this massive synchronized upgrade across the entire continent.
Moving right along to Section 2, the inflation battle.
So with all these trillions of dollars being thrown around for national security, high-tech manufacturing, and upgraded militaries, we really have to ask the single most important question for the average citizen. How does this massive flow of money impact the everyday family? I mean, who is actually footing the bill for this changing world order?
To answer that, we've got to look at global central banks. They're currently watching inflation like hawks, because countries are spending so heavily. And not just on defense, but also on AI technology and these massive green energy transitions, central banks have the tough job of carefully managing interest rates. They have to make sure this rapid economic shift doesn't spiral into unmanageable costs for everyday people.
It is such an incredible balancing act. On a macro level, governments and big corporations are driving massive spending into global trade shifts, AI tech, and energy transitions. But down on the micro level, the ultimate goal of all this monetary policy is just to ensure that those huge transitions don't make your basic necessities completely unaffordable. The true success of these global investments relies entirely on keeping your food prices down, keeping your fuel affordable, and maintaining price stability for the average family.
Let's shift gears for Section 3, the celestial triple threat.
You are definitely going to want to mark your calendars for August 12th, because Skywatchers are about to get an unbelievably rare sequence of events. We're talking a triple sky show all happening within a single 24-hour window. Right before dawn, if you look east, you can catch a rare 6-planet parade. Then, during the day, a total solar eclipse is going to sweep across parts of Europe and Greenland. And finally, to top the whole thing off at night, we get the absolute peak of the famous Perseid meteor shower.
If you want to catch this, especially that incredible lineup of Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn, or if you want to see up to 100 shooting stars an hour, you've got to prep just a bit. Get yourself far away from city lights to a nice, dark location. Double-check your local weather for clear skies, and grab your telescope or binoculars. It is shaping up to be just an unforgettable day for astronomy lovers.
Pivoting back down to Earth for Section 4, monsoons in India.
We're looking at some unusually relentless and heavy monsoon rains right now, and they've triggered really dangerous, life-threatening flash floods across southern India. Looking at the specific areas affected, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala are all facing severe impacts. The rising waters have completely submerged roads and bridges, triggered massive power outages, and tragically displaced thousands of families who are now having to rely on emergency rafts and relief camps just to survive.
Emergency rescue teams, and specifically the National Disaster Response Force, are working around the clock to clear out towns and distribute aid. For anyone in these affected zones, officials are urging strict adherence to some critical safety protocols. You need to avoid flooded areas entirely. Absolutely do not attempt to drive through floodwaters. Keep a kit of your essentials and medicines ready to go, and if you find yourself in an emergency, dial 112 for the NDRF. Staying alert and helping each other out is how communities are going to get through this.
And finally, Section 5, Sports and New Talent.
This quote right here perfectly captures the silver lining of setbacks. When injury sidelines the world's best, it paves the way for a new generation of talent to step into the spotlight. It reminds us that an unexpected crisis for one individual is so often a career-defining opportunity for someone else who's just been waiting in the wings, ready to prove themselves. You know, whether it's on the massive global geopolitical stage, the global economy, or literally just out on the soccer pitch, when the established players are forced out of the game, a hungry, resilient new generation is always ready to run out of the tunnel. It's actually a pretty great metaphor for everything we've explored today: adaptation, preparation, and stepping into the spotlight when the moment demands it.
So as we wrap up this August Global Briefing Explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. With nations rapidly arming their skies, inflation persistently testing our wallets, and nature displaying its immense, unstoppable force, who are the new leaders, innovators, and athletes that will step out of the tunnel and into the spotlight for the rest of this year? Keep your eyes on the shifts, and we will see you in the next Explainer.